Hey guys, so I recall on Sunday I was listening to my pastor speak, and he mentioned something that, really stood out to me. And it was all about living in the Spirit. I mean, praying in the Spirit, speaking in tongues and such. And he mentioned something that, when you do what the Spirit tells you, then you are living in the Spirit. It means being obedient to what God is telling you to do, what He's directing you to do. And it's not somebody that, they can hear God's directions fine, but unless they are following through with them, then you are not living in the Spirit. You're not being obedient to the things of the Spirit. I mean, God may direct you, hey, I want you to, take the initiative and love this person that you do not like. And, I mean, you can hear God's voice fine, but that means nothing unless you are obedient to what He's telling you to do. And that is the problem with a lot of people, is that they refuse to go through with something that doesn't appeal to them. Jesus said, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. So how many of us actually do that? God wants us to take the initiative and love somebody. I mean, you may have somebody that, in in your church that you just plainly do not like. You don't like how they come across to you. You don't like how they treat other people. And you've reasoned in your mind that you want nothing to do with them. But what if God spoke to you and said, hey, I want you to take the initiative and love them, which means love means understanding. For me, there was one guy that, I was bitter toward years ago. And, one day my friend and I, we were throwing the ball around at church. And he comes out and says, hey guys, it's a beautiful day. The sun is shining. The birds are singing. Why not throw the ball at the park? We were like, why can't we do it here? That's what we were thinking to ourselves. And that just added to the pile of bitterness that was already on us at that time. It was not only bitterness from this guy, but just bitterness that built up from the rejection of other people. And so I got sick of, being bitter, and I really wanted to be obedient to what God had said. And, that is the problem. How many of us believers are just content in remaining in that bitterness and not doing anything about it, not walking in love? Because, who knows, at any time Jesus can come, and if we're not being obedient to what God has said, He's going to deal with that obedience. Or, He's going to deal with the disobedience. So I'd rather, be in that place of obedience, listening to what God has said, being obedient to what He said, so that I will not have to deal with, being corrected by Him. So, with that guy that, he just continued saying like bitter, things that just really made us angry and bitter. And, so I got sick of, being in that place of bitterness. Because it wasn't being loving. So I just asked God, what He wanted me to do. So what he told me, he said, I want you to get a card and write something to his spirit. Because in the spirit, there is no bitterness. There is nothing but love. There's no worldly garbage attached in the spirit, that would hold you back. It's just nothing but pure love. So I did exactly that. I wanted to be obedient to what God would tell me for him. So I began writing down, and then I put the card into the envelope, put his name on it, and gave it to him. And how he treated me after was different. He was nice. So how many of us are willing to be obedient to what God is telling us to do? Being obedient to, loving somebody, even when we don't feel like doing such. Understanding it takes, when we get to really show somebody that, that we want to really show God that we really want to love like he loves, it means getting to know somebody that may, make you angry, that somebody will not take the initiative into getting to know, because we're all born innocent, but it's this world that brings pain and hurt to us, and it causes us to live out of our woundedness. So like I said, we're not born hurt. Hurt people hurt people. So are you willing to take that initiative and get to know somebody, to walk in the place of the Spirit and do something that you would naturally not want to do? So, I was just thinking about what my pastor had said about, living in the Spirit. It's not about, only hearing God's voice. It's not about just speaking in tongues, but it's about the answer to, God's instructions. We can either be like those two sons who, the father said, I want you to go work in the vineyard. And the son says, I will not, then thought about it and did so. And he said to the other son, go work in my vineyard. And the son was like, okay, but never did it. So which one of the sons are we going to be? Are we going to be the disobedient one? Or are we going to be the one that's obedient? So, I was just thinking about the whole, living in the Spirit and, just how my walk of faith, how that was pleasing to God, but according to the world, people in the church just, criticized me and stuff because I wasn't walking in the pattern that many people were walking in this world. And that pattern is the pattern of success, making money, being successful in your job. I was doing what the Spirit wanted me to do. So that naturally goes to say that, these people that call themselves brothers and sisters of Christ, who criticize me for not doing what this world says I needed to do, they were criticizing somebody who was walking in the Spirit, because I was doing what God wanted me to do. It's not what the world wanted us, for us. And when you get down to it, to the history of everything, where back in 1871, the United States became a corporation, and that's when everything went downhill. And there was a quote recently that I've heard from Woodrow Wilson, how he lamented, and he was upset about the fact of his decision of turning the United States into a corporation where it became nothing but money. And people then became, dollar bills, dollar signs. And so everything changed from 1871. And with that, I've stated in the Main Breadwinner videos that, and this is way before I knew about the United States becoming a corporation. I just knew that Mammon became the god right then and there in the late 1800s, to where God helps those who help themselves became the focus. It was no longer God. It was no longer, man just, working on his farm without, the ties of being successful. That wasn't even a thing until the United States became a corporation, because before Mammon became the god of the United States, and to where everybody started changing to the pattern of the rich. And so there was a reason why God told me not to become like everybody else. I didn't know it at the time. I was like a salmon that was going against the tide. I was like a fish that was going the opposite of, the other fishes. It's like that, the intro to the Chosen, that show about Jesus and the disciples, how you see those fishes going in one direction, but then Jesus was going the opposite direction of the other fish, and his disciples were following the same way. So I was doing the opposite of what this world would naturally say that I had to do. And so when you start living opposite from the way the world naturally functions, then you're going to be an object of criticism to the people around you. And that's exactly what I had to deal with, because I wanted to be obedient to God. I was being obedient to his spirit. And the flesh persecutes those who follow in the spirit, because those who walk in faith are the sons of God, and not those that are following the United States as a corporation. So from what Trump has done, is the United States is no longer a corporation. The currency is backed by the gold standard. So we're not following, I guess you would call it, the fiat currency. So this has nothing to do with currency or anything. It's about walking in the spirit. So I was doing what God wanted me to do. So it just goes to show you, what God was planning all along is that he knew the United States became a corporation. He knew that Mammon was, the God of the United States from that time on. And every person was following in that place of the rich man. So this had to stop. This has to stop with people that are doing that, which means, it may be a tradition generationally in your family where, your grandparents followed success, your parents followed success, and they're, everyone's pushing you to do that. Well, if you want to be obedient to God, that entails hearing his voice. You are now accountable for what you're hearing. If I'm telling you that being obedient to the Spirit's voice and following what God says, then that means that, you stop following success. So then you are accountable to what God is telling you. If God leads you into that place that you need to be walking in the Spirit and not about finances anymore, then that means that you're accountable for those words. What are you going to do with those words? Are you going to walk in the Spirit, or are you going to, walk in the flesh and continue, following what, the dictates of Mammon and the people that are following Mammon? So, I just wanted to share this video with you because, what my pastor said, sparked, that interest in, making this video, because I was just showing just how horribly I was criticized by the people in the body. Those people that were following Mammon, and, the Mammon that they were following is the same, people that have killed innocent children and followed Mammon. So these people that are pushing you to be financially successful are pushing you to worship the god Mammon. And whether they know it or not, you are following in line with the same people that have money in their hearts, that follow Mammon. Not only that, but they're for human trafficking, for killing children, for cannibalism, for pedophilia. Everything is tied to that. So I just wanted to share this video with you, and I pray that it blesses you. Thanks for watching.